Hello, my name is Andrew Hare. I'm the Supervisory Conservator of East Asian Painting at the Freer Gallery of Art and Arthur M. Sackler Gallery, the Smithsonian's National Museum of Asian Art. Today I'm going to speak about a Japanese handscroll that is particularly appealing to me. This Japanese narrative handscroll, known as the Miraculous Interventions of the Bodhisattva Jizo, dates to the mid-13th century. Acquired by Charles Lang Freer in 1907, it is thought to be the earliest remaining depiction of this story in Japanese art. Buddhist themes became popular in Japan from the late 12th century, when Jizo was increasingly worshipped as a protector of children, women, and those in distress. This handscroll illustrates their struggles from farmer to nobility and how their faith in Jizo led to various miracles performed by this compassionate bodhisattva on their behalf. Though this scroll is a rare and beautiful example of Japanese painting and calligraphy that can be enjoyed for its art historical interest, for me, as a conservator of Japanese scrolls and screens, I see another story in its materials and condition that relate a rich religious and cultural context for how it was used and cared for over centuries. Each illustrated section of the scroll was painted with skillful and expressive underdrawing, covered with ground mineral pigments applied to sheets of thick, smooth paper. The accompanying texts were written with soot-based ink on a similar paper. An illustrated handscroll of this quality and scale, measuring almost 47 feet in length in its present state, would have been an expensive production, most likely commissioned by a temple, to be used as an educational tool to promote belief in Jizo. This scroll shows countless deep creases that run across the paper, which have darkened over time. These are the result of the scroll being handled, unrolled, and re-rolled thousands of times to show each picture to an attentive audience while the accompanying text was read aloud. This form of proselytization was very common in Japan for a largely illiterate population, serving a similar function to stained glass windows in medieval European cathedrals. Looking through the scenes, the image of Jizo appears as a monk here, flying through the sky to save a soul from punishment, or more often as a golden statue standing serenely. Each of these depictions of Jizo shows pigment loss and fragmentation of the paper, support that indicate localized abrasion and deterioration. I can imagine a narrator touching each figure of Jizo to highlight the story every time it was told, leaving these signs of wear that remain as another story of its history. The scroll, last remounted nearly 200 years ago, has areas of extensive pigment loss with large holes in the paper support. These areas were once deep green, depicting trees, shrubs, and grassy hillsides. The pigment used to paint these landscape elements was malachite, a copper-green pigment that is inherently acidic and characteristically leads to this extensive loss of pigment with a brown halo of discolored paper surrounding it. This common problem was dealt with by remounting the painting and patching the losses from behind with a similar paper to both support and help hide the damage. This technique is virtually the same for conservators today. But closer examination of these antique restorations revealed another part of the history of the scroll. Scientific analysis of these areas performed at the beginning of the ongoing 3-year conservation treatment revealed lines of silver in the repair paper. Closer examination showed that this silver was painted in patterns of flowers and grasses that were commonly used to decorate the back of handscrolls. Knowing that generations of scroll mounters were resourceful and frugal, it became clear to me that during a past restoration, the original paper of the painting had been split into 2 layers and cut up to patch these losses in the painting. The mounters had used the smooth side of the back of the paper to match the smooth front surface of the painting, inadvertently exposing bits of the silver decoration. The back of the scroll is now lined with plain paper, but this age-old practice of recycling materials sheds light on how the scroll would have appeared originally. This hand scroll has always held a special appeal for me, but working with my curatorial and conservation science colleagues during the present conservation treatment has helped me uncover many more aspects of its beauty, history, and physical nature that I hope to preserve as part of understanding its multi-layered history. Thank you for listening.